Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever it is for you. I'm Psycho, and this is Let's Play Train Simulator. Today it's our final scenario in the GE ES44AC set of scenarios on Cajon Pass. Now this train comes with the route, as does the ST40. It's a simpler model again of the ES44AC from Sherman Hill. And the ST40 was never actually used on Sherman Hill, so we never even got to introduce that. We're going to have to look at it Sherman Hill in a workshop scenario using that train, it looks like. But for right now, we've got the simpler model of that, and we have both trains. And we also have the F7 hanging out over in a career scenario, which we're going to get to eventually as well. But for right now, we have a couple of the ST70 scenarios here as well. The ST70 Ace, that is a separate DLC package once again. And it's supposedly a very hard scenario. Bringing freight cars from Barstow Hump Yard to make two separate rates at Barstow Yard East sounds complex, really isn't. So we're going to do that at a later time as well. But for right now, today we are doing Thorn Reversal. We are on Cajon Pass. It is our last ES44AC scenario on this route. Let's go ahead and get into it and see what we have coming up, and I'll see you in the scenario. Alright, fine, I'll bring it up. Your first stop is East Victorville Siding 1. Use the 2D map to ensure it's... Yeah, the switches are very, very fussy in this scenario you're going to find. So I'm going to center on myself. There's a lot of switches are going to be wrong here. In our case, we can just go ahead right now where we are, and that's just fine. The problems are going to show up when we get to the East Victorville. That's where the switches are going to need to be set for us. And we're going to have to make sure we get into this track cleanly. So since I have a chance while I'm going to stop, I will do this right now. We are going to Victorville Siding 1, which is this one underneath the text here, the one on the far left here. The yellow one, that is. So we're going to want to go onto that siding, and that is pretty much all I need to worry about for right now. The rest of it should be set correctly. And we're going to be directed off by the signals. So we should be okay there. Let's center on us. And let's get back to our train. Let's put it into motion. And we're going to get off to a nice move so we don't have too much jostling of the freight back there. Once we're moving at a few miles, we're going to up the throttle to get ourselves going a little faster. Problem is we're on a 15 right now, so we can't do too much. I'm going to put it to 25% throttle. Now, as you see, we only have 4 tasks here again, so another nice simple task list. But we're going to have some reversing to do here. Now, we're going to be changing trains on the go this time. That's why this scenario is a little longer. We're going to drive along. We're going to change the train after our drive. So now it's testing our ability to arrive and do our mission as well. So giving us a little bit more of a test. Let's get into the cab. Now, I don't believe there are any adverse signals along the way, but just in case there were, you have to pay attention to the route as well. As you see, we are still in the siding on the back of the train, so until this is clear, we're not going to be able to go up past 15. So I have to manage our speed until we get clear of the yard. Once we're clear, or the siding rather, once we're clear of the siding, we can throttle the speed up. There's some roads on the side of us again, each side of us. Nice California scenery here. So I'm watching this just to get an idea of where we are now. If you want to, you can actually go into the cab and look for a landmark. So in this case, there is no landmark. We really don't have a landmark. Not much to work with here. So there's a nice slanted pole. That might count as a landmark. When you get up to that slanted pole, you're probably able to speed up. But I may have missed another one along the way, so that might not be good. This hotel in your window. There we go. That hotel in the window is a good landmark. Because now we're up to 55. When this guy disappears in your window, that's a sign that you can start to speed up. So if you're trying to learn the route by memory, there's a way to do it right there. Follow that hotel and you got your first speed up. Coming out of the siding. So we're going to pump the speed up now. We've got a nice, well, let's see how long. 12-mile drive, 12.5-mile drive. Sorry, truck. Second train, I know. These guys are probably upset right now. Train just passed, and here we are. They're waiting for us now. And we're the slowpoke. Sorry, guys. I don't make the schedule, I just follow it. Now I should be bumping the speed up all the way. Let's move the throttle up to 75 to get a little more increase here, because we are on an uphill gradient of 0.5%. So let's go ahead and get ourselves up to 45, 50 in that range. That should do for this part of our drive. And I believe we do a 50 limit ahead as well, so that's the other reason I'm going to stop around 50. Right now it's not showing up though, so maybe I will go above 50 for a little bit. Oh yeah, there's no 50 yet. I thought there was. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm doing a little better than I did last time, which is kind of weird because it's just a straight speed up. So I'll give it a couple more miles here. We're now on a 0.4 gradient. A little late on the horn there. There's another road, I think, going under us, or a creek or something. And let's take the throttle off now. There's no need to keep applying throttle at this point. In fact, we're losing speed very gradually. And let's see what happens with 12% throttle. We're gaining also gradually. So yeah, we're kind of in the zone right now where we want to just manage our speed. If we come to a sudden downhill somewhere, we're going to have to make sure we adjust quickly on the brakes. If that's a creek, it's kind of dried up. A little unfortunate there. There are different camera views as well. I'm just going to show those off again here. That was the outside view. This is the back of the train. This is a view with the train just going by. So you get to get some nice scenic camera shots here by doing this. And then the camera will go further ahead and it does it again. There it is. Beautiful. Okay, enough of that. View 5 is a passenger view, which we don't have right now because we don't have any passenger cars. View 6 is coupling view. View 7 is a nice overhead view, and you can't really zoom in or out on that or move around. It's just a straight overhead view. And then view number 8 is the best one because you can detach from the camera, from the train, and go wherever you want to go. You can head over here. You can look for the highway. There's a road here. You can just follow this road and have a little fun as if you were a car. Oh, look, nice little house. Look at this. Nice. And then, of course, number 9 is the mini map, and there's all your views. There's your guide to the camera views. Minus passenger view, of course. You can also move between different engines and freight cars as well, so you don't have to be at the front of the train. You can be in the middle of the train if you want to be. I just haven't bothered to do that yet. Most of the time I see no reason for it unless there's a certain, unless you have some specific reason for wanting to follow that car and it's related to when you start to accelerate or when you start to brake. Other than that, there's no real reason to follow it on a different car. One reason could be for coupling purposes, but you can just use the free roam cam and go right over the cars. So again, there's no real need to. I'm pretty comfortable in this 50 area right now. I know I'm gaining speed, and I will let it happen because the limit is 55, so I was completely wrong about the 50 that I thought was coming up, but I will be taking the throttle off as I get a few kilometers over 50 because I want to make sure I'm losing speed as well. There is the odd downhill stint. In fact, there's one coming up right after the signal. So we're at a 0.6 right now. There's a brief downhill right after the signal, and then it's back to being uphill. So we shouldn't be losing too much speed, but we also don't want to gain too much speed, which is why I'm going to take the throttle off. By the way, I think that siding we started in, I think that was a Helendale siding, if I remember the name of it correctly. We'll look at that again as we go down the 2 longer scenarios and cover the full map. And I found that open railway map, and it does a lot of good research. Gives a lot of good research on the route. I can find a lot of roads nearby. I can do the roads with Google most of the time too, but I can find other spurs, tracks that used to exist, alignments that are no longer there, and cover that kind of detailed information as well. Now on the Cajon Pass itself, there's a lot of information like that. We have a yellow and a green, by the way, so we need to adjust our speed here. I think we have to make sure we're under 50 for the next signal. I believe that's what that means. So I'm just going to let the speed come down naturally, and that should help with that task. But yeah, as I was saying, the open railway map does a lot of the good benefit of getting some information here, because you can get all the old spurs, you can find other kinds of train tracks in the area, which can be helpful for identifying trams or subways. If you want to talk about that in the area where you have a major city, for example. In the London to Brighton, there are some trams in East Croydon that I found on that map, in fact. If you're looking in Toronto, you can find trams, subways, all sorts of railroad tracks, Toronto, Ontario, and I actually put in an idea from Toronto, Ontario as a potential DLC. Hopefully that comes to fruition, because I think between that and my St. Clair Tunnel idea, that would be a nice combination right there. Some traffic from the car dealerships in London and out to the car dealerships. Or in Toronto, I mean, sorry, not London, Toronto. I think that'd be kind of a cool mix, and I think it'd be cool to have that, being able to go to Detroit from Toronto. So hopefully that becomes a thing. What's our distance? 6 miles. Now you should not be seeing my mouse right now, but I'm going to go ahead and move it out of the way whenever I see it there, just in case. Like I said on the last video, my last set of these scenarios, I had to demousify them specifically because you can see my alerts, you can see my mouse on every single video. And I didn't want to give you the whole full screen experience. I wanted to just give you the game and leave the alerts that I see to myself, obviously. So that's what we're doing. So here's our junction track, and I thought we were supposed to be under 50, but we're not under 50, which is interesting. There's a train on that track. What train is that? 0710 Standard Freight. Let's check this guy out for a moment while we're here. So you have a green now. That means you can go, sir. 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 You're free to go, sir. As I watch this guy, I'm going to just feather my own speed. Attention, 5399, you're clear to proceed. Over. You're clear to go. You have a green signal. You're clear to go. Dude. 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 You're clear to go. You can proceed. Over. Go. Go. You're blocking the line. You need to move. Go, sir. Come on. There he goes. yeah, this is not my train, this is his train, but I like watching these other trains once in a while, so let's go back to my train and take a look at the signal that's coming up. So I guess he was just finishing his lunch. So if we were going in the siding, there'd be a 15 to go in the siding. We're not going in the siding. Now I think the way the signaling works, you have to assume the next signal could be red, but we know it's not going to be red. So we're just going to go ahead and proceed. There's one of the sidings coming in right there. And as we look ahead and we see that our signal is indeed a green signal, we can proceed at line speed. Let's check what those stubs were. Those are the Oro Grand, so we're coming very, very close to Victorville at this point. And as we look at the map, we're 3 miles away. That next signal is a mile away, so that's going to bring us up to 2 miles away, obviously. So let's look at our goal right now. If we get to the goal, there we go. We don't have the blue up there yet, but you can see that the blue is starting to creep up there as we get closer. And we're going to be coming along that side track. We're going to zip off there, and then our thing should take us in there. There are Victorville cement sidings there as well. So I suspect this next signal is going to be detouring us into the siding. That's what I would expect, being 1.5 miles or so away. 2 miles away, sorry. Just neighborhood there. So that siding comes to an end. There is a 35 ahead, so I am going to be hitting the brakes a little bit in just a moment here, but the signal is telling us we do have a yellow. The yellow means that we need to be ready to stop at the next signal. Now this could also just mean a restricted speed signal. The manual does not indicate the blinking red, which I believe means proceed at restricted speed based on other manuals. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that we are proceeding at restricted speed, but we do have to get down to 35 before that signal. We have to be at 15 by the next signal. Now the funny thing is, the 15 doesn't apply at that signal. It applies when you actually take the switch, the siding switch, but we're going to act like we have to be 15 at that signal, even though I know there's a long, slow, arduous journey ahead. So let's slow down a little bit now. This would be a really good time to do so. I want to be very careful with how I do it so I don't jostle the freight too much. You might be asking, why would you be worried about jostling freight too much? Well, some kinds of freight you want to be very careful with. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, now I'll take the brakes off because we're going a little slower than I thought at this point. Taking off too much speed at this moment. Now I'm going to put it back on. Brake again. I should be able to get down in time. In fact, I am within the speed now. So I'm going to take the brakes back off, and I'm just going to go ahead and coast for a moment. And I'll apply them again before we actually get into the limit. Okay, here we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and lower a little bit below 35 just to make sure that we stay within what we want to do here. In fact, my throttle is still on for some reason. I just noticed that. I didn't take the throttle off, so the brakes were actually just doing a nice job slowing me down, but the throttle was keeping me going. That's what we saw there. So I'm coasting very nicely right now on a level 1 throttle, 12.5%. The 0.5 is not shown, but it always rounds down for some reason. Now we see the next signal ahead. We're going to act like we have to be at 15 for that. Why am I on EastVic track 2? That doesn't make sense. Let's get that speed down a little quicker than I intended. Let's just check our track settings here. I'm not sure. Oh, EastVic track 2 must be the name of the track. Never mind. I get it now. It's going to direct me via EastVic track 2. So signal again, or brakes again, please. I'm going to take the throttle off this time. And there's the East Victorville Siding one coming up. That's what confused me for a moment. We're now going to be under 45 after our train passes the sign, but since we're going into the siding, 15 is our limit coming up. And I'm going to go ahead and take the brakes off now because we came off a little earlier than planned. So if I happen to gain speed, I'm just going to let it happen for a moment, but we are going to have to slow down again in a moment anyway. You can see the flashing red ahead. In fact, I'm going to put a little speed back on. There we go. So we're passing EastVic track 2. I'm going to leave this up for a moment. We're going to get directions. Stop at East Victorville Siding 1 and uncouple the second engine at all freight cars. Your front engine will then be used for the second leg of the journey. Uncouple your freight cars within the limits of the siding using the driver's guide F3, which is, well, this. Technically I'm speeding right now, which I don't want to do, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off before it registers me as speeding. We're actually on a slight downhill gradient right now, which is helping me gain speed. Or rather, causing me to gain speed, I should say. So I'm going to have to manage my speed a little bit better in this yard setting. But I will use the throttle to help me do that, so I can power through the brake application. As you see, 25% is going to let me fight against this 2% brake. By gaining speed ever so imperceptibly. We're now entering the siding. We are now under the effect of 15 mile per hour. There's the cement sidings over on the left. As you saw, my speed did not want to go over 14.8, which is actually just fine. I have no problem with that. I'm now on a 14.6. Now, we can technically let the trains off anytime once we get into the cars off once we get into the siding. But because the back of our train is still on the track, I'm going to play it properly and make sure that we are off the track. Because as you see, the cars are still on the main line, and I don't want to have the possibility of a scripted train coming down the line and possibly crashing into the car, or even being held up and causing other trains to have problems further down. So we could uncouple now, but it's not really a good idea to do so. We're going to go ahead and get the train fully within the siding, if we can. So as you see, we are now off the track, and now we could theoretically do it any time, but I'm just going to, again, be nice and keep the siding clear. There's milepost 35. So up here, we are continuing into the siding. I'm going to check my switches after I come to a stop as well. Let's lower the speed a little bit now. There's a train going by. And I'm just bringing up the label so you can see what it is. It's not really a big deal what it is. I'm just giving you a chance to see what train is going by. Where's the back of our train? It is over here, and that's the main line, by the way. That is the main line over to our immediate right. The track that we were just on, now that we're clear, they can go ahead. So I believe we are fully within the siding now, and I'm going to go a little bit further, because why not? And that'll do. So I'm going to go ahead and hop out of the train, just hop straight out of the engine, why not? Gonna let it come to a stop. So we're going to uncouple this engine, the 5254, it does say it right there on the task list. So we're going to uncouple 5254. We're going to do it now. I'm going to zip forward a little bit just to make sure I'm clear of the train. There we go. Your freight cars are now uncoupled, ready for sorting. The rate to your east is bound for Thorn is your next charge. Ensure the switch is set correctly on the 2D map. Duh. And couple it to the back of your engine. I shall do so. So let's check what our charge is. Our charge is in Victorville Siding 5. We need to find our way into Victorville Siding 5. How are we going to do this? We're going to follow the tracks. So that's one way in. Now we need to get to this cross track. To do that, we need to make our way over to this point by hitting that. That's not going to help us, actually. Our blue track is going to take us past this switch. So once we pass this switch, we're going to be able to switch this over to here. That will take us back to the way we need to go. So I'm going to leave it that way for right now so we can cross it. Once we've crossed it, we can proceed. So back into the cab. I am keeping the brake application on because it is extremely helpful at this point. But as you see, we're getting up to speed a lot quicker without those cars on our tail. So that brake application is going to be very, very nice in helping us maintain our speed. No speed. Took that one off just in time. Now you're actually on uphill, so you probably don't need the brake application. I'm just leaving it on to help us when we get to the point that we need to hit the switch. As you see, we're way beyond the switch. Why am I still going? Stop. 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 I am way beyond the switch I wanted to hit. That was faster than I thought it was. So that's where I want to go. I'm backing up to that track right now. Is this the track I want to go to? It is number 5. That is number 5. So yes, if I hit this one wrong, I'm on the wrong track. So that's the one I want to do. Let's go ahead and reverse her. To reverse. Brakes are now off. I will reverse. I will go to the back of the train. But again, I'll put on the minimal brake application just to help with my getting set up here. So I'm going to go ahead and follow the train back just to make sure I don't. There's our turnaround track, by the way. So I'm going to make sure that I get on the right track. Once I know I'm on the right track, I'll go ahead and I'll zip forward and I will do the job that I need to do, which is coupling to the cars that are back there under the arrow. Too slow now. Zoom in a little bit, because why not? There's me as well. Throttle off. In fact, that train is very, very close to the front here, so I'm going to just zip ahead right now. That's not how you zip ahead. This is. So that is our train. Gonna get a little bit more speed here. Now I'm gonna slow down a little more because I'm gonna need to hit the brakes very soon, I believe. A little more I'm gonna need. And brakes. With your final consist assembled, you can go straight to Thorn, but check your switches and keep to the line speeds. Keep the main line clear for now and travel through the yard. Rejoin the main yard at the south end of Victorville by the bridge. I'm just getting a tip from someone on North Jersey Coastline, which is a route that I own. I'm going to have to make sure when I play North Jersey Coastline, be careful of a track bug there. Good to know. Good to know that the team working at Dovetail Games never gets all the bugs out of their routes before releasing them. It's something I'm going to probably have to learn for myself when I play the route. In the meantime, I'm going to take this train up. Very, very slow increase. I'm going to put a little more speed on, a little more throttle. There we go. Now it's probably going to want me to stay off the main line for the time being. I don't know why, but we are being kept off the main line for the time being, so it's going to be a bit of a long, slow slog here. Gonna leave the speed here for a moment to check the path we're taking, because we have to continue back where we came from, down this track. We're going to be continued over to here, and we're going to eventually have to come into the siding over here. Once we get through this siding, we're going to be rejoining the main line at the end of that siding, it looks like. In fact, there's another huge set of sidings here that we go through before we even do that. So we're going to check those as we go along. I didn't want to do that. What I'm worrying about that North Jersey coastline one is that it's a track that it's a track bug that caused you to lose 500 points due to an op error, apparently. Even more interesting. Looks like I have another scenario to pass on to our scenario fixer. So that flashing red means that I believe we can still proceed at shunt speed, because the maximum speed in the yards is 15, so we are proceeding at shunt speed. If it was a solid red and not blinking, then we would have to stop for that signal. We are not being allowed on the main track as of yet, so we are continuing on this side track as I forecast. Let me check our switch at this point. It is set correctly, so we don't have to worry about that switch right now. And there are no switches in the immediate future here, so we're going to proceed. Since that track comes from the main track, we don't have to worry about a switch on that particular track. It was the one on the left coming down from the upper sidings that we had to worry about. And there's some vehicular traffic going by on the road to the side. What road is that? Let's find out. Oh, it's the interstate. That's an interstate. Excellent. Since we are on a slight uphill, I'm going to go ahead and pump the speed all the way up to 14 to 15 range. Good reason to do so. Use the 2D map to locate Thorn Siding 4. You'll need to reverse into the siding from Thorn Siding 1. Once you have come to a stop in Siding 4, the scenario will complete. Roger. We're not going to be near Siding 4 for a while. Why did I do that? That was unusual. Where am I? Oh, I ended up a mile away from my game, didn't I? I'm all the way over here. Hey! There we go. Boy, I pushed the wrong thing there. Let's see what this road is. Beautiful. Interstate. Interstate over interstate. They don't even connect. Looks like some kind of a rest stop over here. Oh, motel. Yep, it's a rest stop, alright. And yes, I am playing on medium graphics. I found out that if I were to play on high graphic settings, even on my gaming rig, the game will lag. I don't know why. I have a gaming rig, 24 gigs of RAM, 1060 graphics card. I have the SSD hard drive. I made sure I had everything I need to be able to do some good streaming on this. But this game is it's a test for good computer. Apparently, it still tests good computers in that it doesn't recognize all the abilities of good computers and acts like you're on a Windows 7 from 2010 or 2005 or something like that. Whenever Windows 7 came out. So I know there have been a lot of requests for a new core to be created for the game. I don't know if that ever will be done. I am hopeful it will. I am not holding out hope. I can be hopeful without holding out hope. I love how we have a no smoking sign in the cabin here, by the way. That That's the case on all trains. Just to remind drivers, hey, you're on duty. You're not smoking here. Once you're out through the train, I don't care. Oh, by the way, there's a diner over there. Anyone hungry? Diner, motel. Better take a longer look. I pushed the wrong button. Oh well. So now that we're over here, let's check the sidings. I don't want to go to Thorn yet. I want to go up here. I'm on the second track. That's going to become the third track. The third track indeed is fine. There's a train coming along on the main track, but this is the track I have to be worried about right here. Now that that track is going by, we're going to be able to be clear to go ahead here. You see the blue putting us back on the main track. So we're going to be good. We're going to be good at this point. By the way, what train is that? 615 standard freight. Why they never say hi to me? I don't understand why they don't say hi to me. It's rude. Oh, that one is a caboose. Did you see that? There was a caboose on that train. That's a caboose. And I got one too. Look at that. Caboose. Caboose. So I did check these switches already, but I'm just going to look at them again. Because you can't be too safe with these things. There are all the switches. All set, we're good to go. So there's our shunt signal. We can proceed at shunt speed, 15 miles per hour. You see the 35 coming up on the mini map, so we are getting to the end of the yard now. In fact, I think we might... I don't know if it's this track or the next one we go at. I think it's the next one. Yeah, I was right. It's the next one. And that shunt signal is 2.5, well, about a quarter of a mile away is a better way to put it. So again, since we're still in the yard, let's check these again. We could go to Victorville Siding too if we want to and go through that way, but there's no point. We're going to continue to this little green here. There's a yellow apparently coming from the other direction on that track. So we're going to continue out. We're going to find our way to Thorn Siding. Once we're back on the track and speeding up, I will locate Thorn Siding to make sure that we are good for our... so that we don't end up switching against ourselves on the way out. On the way in, rather. So you can see that we do have a yellow up there on the next, on the shunt signal. I believe that is a yellow. No, it's a green. Sorry, I can't read. Yellow and green, that small thing mix. So we're going to be coming out of the siding right now. As you can see, there's currently a flashing red on that track, so anyone coming in who wants to shunt. But as we get closer to the front of the area here, we're going to be messing that plan up right now. We're clear to proceed, and that's going to turn into a solid red in just a moment. And there it is. They now have a solid red. They can't proceed. We can. Why not? And it's proper procedure to use that bell whenever you're in the yard, but very often I find the bell constantly claiming to be annoying in this video game setting, so I tend, and since there's no real people to really annoy in this game, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it off unless the scenario somehow penalizes you for not using it. Then you have to use it. I don't think you can do that though in the settings, so what do I know? And now they have a flashing shunt signal again. There you go. So we're in the 35 now. We can go ahead and pump up. How far away are we? 4.5 miles. So I'm going to go ahead and just speed up slowly at this point. There's no signal, so I have time to look at the map. If I can center on my spot, thank you. That's where we want to stop. So we're going to have to come in and we're going to have to eventually, well, the switch is already set for us. As you see, we're already on the right switch for this. So for coming in, we're going to have to make sure that this switch is set correctly. This is the correct setting for coming in. Once we're in, we're going to switch it to this to back up. We have to stop before the red signal that will be at the end of the siding. We cannot pass that point. So we're going to be coming in here, and that is Thorn Siding 1. We're going to be veered off into the siding right here. You can see the path is already set for us. So that's what we're going to be doing here. Not really much for us to do at this point except ride along. Now that we know that our path is set, let's speed up a little bit. Because we don't have any timings to worry about, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at 50% throttle. I had not mean to zoom forward. Don't know how that happened. I must have hit the mouse by accident or hit a key somewhere. But in any case, we do have a yellow coming up, so it looks like we might be shunting off. We have to be ready to stop at the next signal. So it looks like we're immediately going to be shunting off into the siding. Maybe a little earlier than I thought. So I'm not going to speed up too much now. I think leave it around 35, maximum 40 for now, but I'm going to have to pull it quickly back to 35. Would probably be the way to go right now, because you have to be ready to stop at the next signal. We might be going down to a 15 for the shunting purposes. So that track goes off and is going to cross the bridge. We're going to go under the bridge. Hey guys, want a nice picture? I'll get you a nice one right here. Let's look forward here. We're going to go ahead and zoom ahead of the train. So I'm going to show you the view from above. You see the track goes over to that side. Here's where they cross. That one goes over the bridge. I took this picture last time, but I'm going to give you a chance to get this one right now. If we look into this area right here, get up a little more. Here we go. Here's your chance for a good picture, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to monitor my speed until we get to this point. I am well under the speed limit, so I should be okay. Though I am slowly gaining, so I should probably lower that. Lower the throttle. Lower the throttle. Actually, I don't like this view because you can still see the exit of the bridge over there, so I'm going to do it this way. This should be a bit better. Alright, here's your picture, guys. Here's a desktop for you. Now I'll come with the other side. And there you go. And you're welcome for the opportunity to spruce up your desktop with the train. I'm sure if it was higher quality, you'd be more appreciative, but yeah, there's some limitations on how my game will function on this track if I do that, unfortunately. Don't know why, because it's a track from 2009, just doesn't like the game. You notice that we were losing speed quite a bit now. We're on a 1.9 uphill gradient now, so we are losing the speed. That track to the right helps longer trains keep a little more speed going into the uphill, but or just for the other direction, I don't know. But either way, we're going to be on an uphill pretty much the rest of the way now with the Thorn Siding. Now we need to lose speed anyway, so that's okay. As you see, we're 2 miles away from Thorn Siding. I was expecting you right at the next signal anyway. That next signal is 3/4 of a mile away. We're going to go ahead and get a look at that signal as soon as we can, and we're going to know what we're allowed to do. There is a 15 ahead, so indeed we are going to be getting shunted down to 15 at that signal. And even though it doesn't take effect until we're in the siding, we're going to play it as if we have to be down to that speed at the signal. At least we won't get penalized for being slightly over in that case. There's about 3/10 of a mile, quarter of a mile, a little over a quarter of a mile to the actual 15 post, but we're going to play it as if we have to be down to 15 by that point. And at that point, we just maintain speed in the siding, which shouldn't be hard because we're on an uphill. So if we somehow accidentally speed before we have to back up, there's a problem. So I need to lower the speed. I should have done it sooner, but I need to do it now. And actually, I need to take the throttle right off. That would probably help too. Oh, nope, don't gain, don't gain. I can lose it gradually now and I should be fine. This should be just fine at this point. There we go. Put the throttle back up and see how it responds, and I'm still losing speed, so that's okay. I can tolerate this. So there's our shunt signal. Now I am going to put a level 3 throttle because I have lost a little more speed than expected. But again, I'm not going to go above 15 because now I have to act at yard speed. You would think the 20 would be okay for yard, but I guess they just want to reduce the chance of banging cars against each other. And remember in the Laramie yard, there are spots that are 10 or even 5 miles per hour. So you have that throttle on for 1 second and you're over the speed limit. Bit of an annoyance, that.
Heads up there, 19. We'll probably have to sail through the TN field.
Go on the yard where you're riding the brake is a good idea. The Cheyenne yard is a good one to do it. So we're, even though our map again says we're in a 45, we are playing it as if it's a 15 right now because we did pass a shunt signal. Here we are going to be going off the track right now. You're going to see the track that we're going to be looking for coming up after we get onto this siding track. The siding is technically, well, to our side now. So it's about 1.1 miles away. I am now under the 15, so I definitely have to slow down now. What does this do? Oh, that just closes it? Okay. That works. So now we're a mile away, but we're going past it, so it's probably going to eventually start increasing again as we go past it. Notice the signal ahead. That is the red signal ahead. We're not allowed to leave this siding. This is our parking spot. So that's where we're going to be going back there. Not the train that you're seeing right there, but to a track behind that is where we're going to be going. We're going to manage the switches a little more once we get up there. Let's just double check, make sure nothing happened to our switches. Sure enough, our switch is set. We are good for the siding. And we are stopped here. Technically we can proceed here, but if we do, we're kind of in trouble. So our switch is set. Let's check our mileage over here now. It's still decreasing, even though we're going past it, which I find very peculiar. Maybe because it's looking at based on where we're starting out. So I'm going to go ahead and pop out of the train. I'm going to take a look at the area where the tracks merge right here. For right now, this is a good spot to look at. And this is where the switch is located, so we're going to look at it. Woo! We're going to look at it right here. I will pop back up to the cab in a moment as well. just giving you this view basically right now. We will deliver. Now, it looks like it keeps decreasing as long as you're moving forward in the procedure, which in this case, we are moving forward in the procedure. Let's hit the brakes now because we're starting to gain speed a little too much. Actually, no, the throttle was on. So it's not even the case hitting the brakes, it's the case of taking off the throttle. The back of the train is now passing our spot here, so we're going to go ahead and let it coast for a moment longer, and now the switch is able to be set, so I will do that. And let's go ahead and hit the brakes at this point. By the way, if we were going forward now, you can see I'm still gaining speed, which is very peculiar, but I'll keep it. So now, if we were to go ahead again, as you can see, there is a solid red. We're not allowed to proceed past that solid red. If we pass this, we're in trouble. So, back of the train, let's just make sure on the map that our switch is indeed correctly set. It should be. And sure enough, as you see, it now goes into the siding, and that's the siding we're going into right there. We're going to make it into that siding, and then we're going to be done. The blue line says that's where we're going. The yellow never changes, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and reverse her that way, please. Other way, thank you. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and just gently ease in. I'm going to move down the track so you can follow me in. Is that... Oh, that's a fueling point. Okay, I see. Fueling point. So here's the point, that first point I'm going to watch at, because we don't want to back up to this train. We want to back up down the track. So I'm going in at a nice 10 right now. 10 is a good speed to be going in right now. And I'm going to need to hit the brakes because the downhill is affecting us here. So slight brake application. 2% should do. So you're going to see me take a turn veering to along the track that goes, it looks like it goes underneath this train, but it actually is the other track. So I'm going to veer along that in a moment. Let's go ahead and put a little throttle back on. The brakes have done their job to make sure I don't crash. So now that you see my caboose going past that, I'm going to move ahead now to the buffer, which is back here. And I'm going to go ahead and back all the way up to the buffer. Why not? That is the end of the track again, so you can see there's nothing beyond that. I'm just going to back all the way up to the buffer because, you know what, I can. I want to do it. Going to take the brake completely off for a moment for this backup procedure, because we still got a little ways to go here. You can see me coming down the track right up there. Now I will lower the speed a little bit. And as I get a little closer, I will give you a view of just the train backing up. I'm not going to keep the lower panel on the screen while I'm backing up to the buffer. A little more speed at this point. And I seem to be managing speed very nicely at this point on a 4% brake, 25% throttle. So I can just safely and carefully back up here. So let's take this view away and I'm going to let you guys see the actual backing up here. Again, wallpaper worthy if you think this is a good wallpaper. I'm going to put a little more speed on it because why not? Speed this up, get it done quicker. Have my I gained a little bit, that's fine. So as we get close to the buffer, I don't want to get too close so that the next train coming to pick this up has a little bit of leeway. So I'm going to go ahead and lower the throttle now. I'm going to go ahead and take the brakes off now. I'm going to apply, put the throttle back on, and take the brakes back on. Again, a little bit of backing up. And that's good enough. So we are back safely, and as you can see, if I come to the front of the train, I am well within the siding. Looking on the mini-map, you can see there's lots of room here. I didn't have to go back that far, but I did, because you never know if it's a longer train coming back to pick it up. And we're going to have the scenario end right here. You have completed the scenario. All goods have been delivered successfully. Thank you very much. And if you liked the video today, make sure you like the video. Hit the thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. We're going to continue next time on some of the longer scenarios. Now again, on the introduction to the next video, you're going to see them as if I have not done them yet. But again, because I had a problem with the mouse on the scenario, you're going to, and the other alerts, you're going to get to see the second run of this. So you're not going to get to see the speeding that I did on that scenario, unfortunately. Only a couple, not bad. You're going to see a different run. I'm going to have more information on the route itself when I do those scenarios as well. So I will see you for the much longer routes. In fact, let me see what the first one is titled, because I don't remember what the first one is titled. But I want to do the one that comes from Barstow and goes to Victorville. That is the first of the two. And then the second one will go from Victorville, I believe, to, or somewhere close to that, to San Bernardino. And hopefully I don't have the lag I had before. So, actually, you know what? I could probably do arriving east first, because that is a much smaller trip, and there's actually some interesting maneuvers in that. But you know what? I might leave that for the final of the 6 scenarios in this group, in this particular case. Very, very interesting scenario, though, and a lot of work to do in that one. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that one later. We're going to look for the 2 that are marked as 120. One of them is Slow Climb South. That is the one that takes us... Let's just make sure. I'm going to double check which of these is the first one, but these are the 2 scenarios I'm doing in the next couple videos anyway. So we're going to be... it looks like it's talking about declines. So yeah, Slow Climb South must be the second one. So it looks like it might be the splitter I'm doing first. Because I already did Thorn Reversal. So yeah, it looks like the splitter might be the first one I'm doing here. Arriving East is obviously coming up as well at some point. So yeah, we got these are the 3 that we're doing. Arriving East, Slow Climb South, and the splitter. I will make sure they're in a proper order, because the one that starts... because when I do them in the right order, it's going to go from Barstow to Victorville to San Bernardino, back to the north, and eventually ending at Oro Grande, I believe. So we're going to get to see a proper order for doing those 3 scenarios, where you basically start where you finished last time. That's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to make sure we have the right ones. So I will see you next time for, I believe it is the splitter that we're doing first, but again, it may be a different one. I will let you know when we do the introduction on that one. So I will see you next time. Again, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. I'm Cyclone. Have a good day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you at your part of the world. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.